The galaxy is trembling, and one choice will decide everything. Gaal Dornick is standing at the edge of her fate, caught between the weight of destiny and the pull of survival. But what happens when the most powerful mind in the universe decides to run? Darkness has never felt so heavy. The stars outside the ship seem distant, silent, and cold, as if they too are holding their breath. Gaal is trapped, not by chains of steel, but by a cage far stronger: fear, duty, and the crushing knowledge of what lies ahead. She knows the Empire is watching, waiting, and ready to strike the moment she falters. Every move she makes is shadowed by eyes she cannot see. Every thought is haunted by the possibility of betrayal. The last time we saw her, the storm of Episode 9 left her broken but unyielding. She stood against impossible odds, knowing the path she walked was carved not just for herself, but for countless lives yet to come. But as the dust settled, question burned inside her heart. Must she sacrifice everything for the future, or can she still claim a life of her own? That question is what pushes her to the brink of escape. Inside the ship, silence is a weapon. Gaal listens to it closely. The hum of engines, the faint pulse of machinery, the hollow echoes of corridors that feel more like tombs than passageways. Her heart races, every beat louder than the alarms she fears will sound. She remembers the faces of those she's lost, the voices of those who told her that she was meant to lead, meant to save, meant to fight. But tonight, destiny feels like a prison, and the only answer is to flee. Still, escaping is not just about saving herself. She knows her visions, those cruel glimpses of the future, hold more than personal doom. They hold the collapse of worlds, the rise of empires, the cries of billions who will never know her name. If she escapes now, she may be rewriting not only her story, but the story of the galaxy itself. That thought chills her more than any weapon pointed at her head. Yet even as her mind churns, her body acts with quiet purpose. She begins to move, slow and careful, each step calculated. The corridors stretch ahead like veins in a living beast, pulsing with dim light, hiding both safety and death. One wrong turn, and everything ends. One mistake, and her escape will become her grave. The tension is unbearable. We, the watchers, feel it pressing on our own chests, because this isn't just another run from danger. This is the heart of the finale, the spark that could ignite everything the show has been building toward. Gaal's escape is not just survival, it's revolution in motion. And it begins here, in the shadows, with nothing but her courage to guide her. Fear is a strange thing. It can freeze you, make your body heavy, lock your feet to the ground. But it can also sharpen your mind, turning every sound into a warning, every shadow into a clue. For Gaal Dornick, fear has become a constant companion, whispering in her ear like a ghost that never leaves. Yet beneath that fear, another feeling grows: determination, burning hot and steady. She knows what the galaxy expects of her. Psychohistory has painted her as a key, a living bridge between past and future, between chaos and survival. Hari Seldon's voice still lingers in her memory, telling her that she is essential, that her path is already chosen. But Gaal has never been one to simply bow to destiny. She has fought it before, she has resisted its pull, and now she feels the same defiance rising again. Why should she die for a plan she never wrote? Why should her life belong to equations written centuries ago? Her mind spins with questions, each heavier than the last. Is she running to save herself, or is she running to save the future from herself? Every vision she has seen, every nightmare of what is yet to come, circles her thoughts like vultures. She remembers the sight of her daughter, Salver, and the pain of losing her. She remembers the faces of people she tried to protect, and the guilt of those she could not. These memories cut deeper than any blade. They are wounds that never close, but also sparks that keep her moving forward. Still, there is doubt. Doubt is the shadow that clings to her more tightly than the corridors of the ship. She wonders if she is strong enough, if she has the will to do what must be done, because escaping is not as simple as walking out a door. Escaping means defying an empire that controls worlds, betraying a plan that has calculated every possible move, and stepping into a future that may swallow her whole. It means being hunted forever. But inside her chest, the determination grows stronger. The thought of chains, whether chains of destiny or chains of empire, is unbearable. She feels that if she stays, if she continues to play the role written for her, she will lose herself completely. And for Gaal, losing herself is worse than losing her life, as she steadies her breath. She remembers the silence of her homeworld, Synax, the sound of waves that once gave her peace. That memory is a weapon now, a reminder that she is more than just a pawn in someone else's game. She is a woman who has faced impossible storms both within and beyond herself. She has survived them all, and she will survive this. The ship creaks around her, alive with the weight of watching eyes. Somewhere nearby, guards wait. Somewhere in the dark, betrayal is already blooming. Yet in this moment, Gaal is sharper than ever. Her fear does not hold her down, it pushes her forward, because she understands something now. Escape is not weakness. Escape is her rebellion. It is the one choice she has left that is truly her own. And so, she begins to plan. The walls feel closer now. The air feels heavier, pressing against her lungs with every breath. Gaal knows this is not just fear, it is the weight of being hunted. Somewhere beyond these metal corridors, footsteps echo, voices murmur, and the cold eyes of enemies are watching. The Empire's reach is endless, and if they discover even a whisper of her plan, escape will become nothing more than a dream. Mind sharpens with the sound of alarms she imagines, alarms that could roar to life at any second. She knows the pattern of her watchers, the way they move like predators circling prey. They are patient, waiting for her to stumble. Every corridor she crosses feels like a trap, every door like the mouth of a cage snapping shut. But the true danger does not only come from the Empire. The shadows around her carry something far more dangerous: betrayal. Oh, she remembers the way trust has failed her before. How allies have turned to enemies, how promises have crumbled when fear took hold. She cannot be sure if those closest to her now will stand with her or hand her over to the first guard who asks. That uncertainty burns deeper than any threat from the outside. Time is running out. The stars beyond the glass remind her that the future is racing forward, uncaring of her struggle. She feels the seconds slipping through her fingers like grains of sand. Every heartbeat is louder than the last, a countdown she cannot stop. If she hesitates, if she waits even one moment too long, the door to freedom will close forever. The danger is not only physical, it is also destiny itself. Hari Seldon's plan, the Foundation's future, the weight of psychohistory. All of it hangs above her like a sword, ready to fall. She wonders if running makes her a traitor, not just to the Empire but to the galaxy itself. If she leaves now, will she be saving the future, or will she be dooming it? That question stalks her more relentlessly than any guard. Yet the threat is real, and it is near. She can almost hear the click of boots on the floor, the hiss of doors sliding open, the sharp sound of weapons ready to fire. The ship is alive with the movements of those who would stop her, and she is caught in the middle, single figure carrying the weight of millions. This is the edge of the blade. One step forward, and she may slip into freedom. One step back, and the jaws of Empire will snap shut, swallowing her whole. And so, Gaal makes a choice. She will not wait for the threat to find her. She will move first. Gaal knows she cannot simply run. To escape the grip of the Empire, she must be clever, faster than their eyes, and sharper than their machines. Every step must be thought out, every choice calculated. One mistake, and the walls will close in, trapping her forever. She begins with silence. Silence is her greatest ally. She studies the rhythm of the ship, the hum of the engines, the flicker of the lights. Every sound tells her a story. The guards have patterns shifts. In the corridors, rotations at the docking bay, moments when their attention drifts. Gaal memorizes them, shaping a plan in her mind like a map drawn in the dark. Next comes misdirection. She cannot face her pursuers directly, so she must make them chase shadows. In her hands are small devices she gathered quietly, unnoticed, tiny. Tools, scraps of technology left behind. Them she can trick sensors, confuse the ship's tracking systems, and create echoes of herself in places she has never been. If the Empire believes she is running one way, she will already be gone in another. But the plan is not only about tools, it is about courage. She must walk paths that seem impossible, corridors filled with danger, doors she has no right to open. She must take risks no one else would dare, and she must trust her instincts. Those flashes of insight that come like sparks in the dark. Her visions of the future are not always clear, but they are enough to guide her through the maze of steel. In shadow, there is a moment when she stops, standing before a sealed hatch. Beyond it lies the docking by a place, crawling with guards, but also her only path to freedom. Her mind races, mapping out the seconds she has, the turns she must. Take the heartbeat of time that will carry her through. She closes her eyes, steadying her breath, and in that silence, she commits fully to her choice. This escape is not only survival, it is rebellion. By fleeing, she is saying no to the Empire, to Hari's plan, to the destiny others wrote for her. She is taking back her life, even if the galaxy burns because of it. The plan is simple but deadly. Move like a ghost. Strike only with silence. Never look back. And so, with her heart pounding like thunder, Gaal takes her first step toward freedom. The silence shatters. Single sounds, small but sharp, betrays her presence. Somewhere behind her, metal clatters against the floor, and a guard's voice cuts through the darkness. "Who's there?" The words slice through the corridor like a blade. Gaal does not wait to answer. She runs. Her footsteps pound against the metal floor, each one echoing louder than her breath. Alarms haven't blared yet, but she knows they will. The ship feels alive now, shifting against her, warning her that time has run out. The air is no longer still, it is tense. Vibrating with the energy of the hunt, she turns a corner, heart racing, as the faint glow of lights paints shadows on the walls. Behind her, the echo of boots follows, steady and relentless. They are close to close. Every turn, every door she passes, could lead her to safety or straight into their arms. Her hands brush against the walls as she moves, searching for the marks she memorized earlier. She finds a vent barely wide enough, but she doesn't hesitate. She slides inside, pulling the cover shut behind her just as voices fill the corridor outside. Sweat beads across her forehead as she presses herself against the cold metal, willing. Her breath too quiet, the guards pass, their words muffled but sharp with suspicion. Check the docking bay, she can't be far. Their voices fade, but Gaal knows better than to relax. They are tightening the net, drawing closer with each second. She crawls through the vent, the metal groaning softly beneath her weight. Sound feels dangerous, every movement too loud. Ahead, a faint stream of light glows from another grate. She pushes it open, dropping silently into a lower corridor. As her feet touch the floor, a siren erupts. Red lights flash, alarms scream through the ship, and the chase truly begins. Now the corridors are no longer silent. They are alive with chaos, guards shouting orders, doors slamming shut, the pounding of boots from every direction. Gaal sprints, her breath ragged, her body aching, but her mind sharper than ever. She knows she cannot stop, not for a single heartbeat. A door slides open ahead, but not the one she wants. Two guards stand there, weapons drawn, eyes locking onto her. For a heartbeat, the world freezes, and she bolts sideways, ducking into another passage just as energy blasts scorch the walls behind her. Sparks fly, heat sears the air, but she does not look back. Every step is a battle now, every corner a gamble. The ship becomes a maze of flashing lights and echoing footsteps. Her body screams for rest, but she pushes harder. Because this is not just running, it is survival. It is defiance. It is the moment that decides everything. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the fear and the fire, Gaal feels it, the future. Shifting. Bending with every choice she makes, every step she takes feels like a war between two worlds, the one she is running from, and the one she may never reach. Her body is caught in the chase, but her mind is trapped in the storm of memory. As alarms scream and footsteps close in, she remembers the faces of those she has lost. Salver, the only daughter she ever knew. The wound of that loss burns hotter than the fire of pursuit, and for a moment her legs almost falter. Why am I running? She whispers inside her head. Is it for herself, for freedom, for a chance to survive? Or is it for something greater, for the hope that may be somewhere? Beyond this darkness, she can still protect what remains of the future. The thought haunts her. It's twisting with every breath. The ship becomes a mirror of her soul. Corridors stretch endlessly like the paths of fate. Doors slam shut like choices denied, and shadows cling to her as if destiny itself refuses to let her go. Each turn she makes is not just physical, it is symbolic. She is running from the Empire, yes, but she is also running from the crushing weight of Hari's plan, from the cold certainty of psychohistory, from the chains that others have forged. For her life, and yet doubt creeps in like a poison. What if escape only leads to another cage? What if freedom is just an illusion, a longer corridor that ends with the same locked door? She feels the pressure in her chest, not just from fear, but from the crushing idea that no matter where she goes, her fate will follow. Her breath grows ragged. Her vision blurs for a heartbeat. She sees not the walls around her, but flashes of the future visions she cannot escape. Planets burning, people screaming, empires falling. And in the middle of it all, herself, standing alone, powerless too. Stop it. The vision hits like a blade, and for a moment she stumbles, catching herself against the wall. But then something shifts. Deep inside, past the fear, past the doubt, a spark of defiance ignites. Maybe she cannot control the future. Maybe she cannot rewrite every equation or stop every war. She can control this moment. She can choose to keep running, to refuse the role written for her, to live on her own terms. That spark becomes fire. Her legs steady, her breath finds rhythm again, and her eyes harden with resolve. She pushes off the wall and runs faster, her steps echoing like thunder through the corridor. The alarms may scream, the guards may close in, but her will is stronger now, for the first time. The chase feels less like flight and more like freedom. The corridor narrows, closing around her, like a trap. Red lights flash against the walls, casting her shadow in long, broken shapes that chase her as relentlessly as the guards themselves. Her chest burns, her muscles scream, but still she pushes forward. Then a sound stops her heart. Boots, heavy, sharp, and close. From ahead, two guards appear, weapons raised, blocking the path she thought was her way out. Behind her, more voices grow louder shouts, orders, the unmistakable roar of soldiers closing in. For the first time, Gaal feels the jaws of the Empire snapping shut. She freezes, pressed between two walls of danger. If she goes back, she runs into death. If she goes forward, she runs into the barrels of waiting guns. The seconds stretch, long and heavy, as the guards ahead take aim. Her breath catches in her throat. This could be the end, but in the heat of that moment, instinct takes over. Gaal darts sideways into a narrow service passage, one she spotted earlier, half hidden in the chaos of alarms. The guards fire, beams of energy slicing past her, scorching the walls. Sparks shower down, the air filling with heat and smoke, but she doesn't slow. She squeezes through the narrow space, scraping her arms on the sharp metal, forcing herself into the darkness. The passage is tight, suffocating. Pipes hiss overhead, the air thick with steam. Behind her, the voices are closer now, echoing through the metal walls. She can almost feel the heat of their weapons at her back. Still, she pushes on, crawling, sliding, dragging herself forward. Her heartbeat drowns out the alarms, her breath ragged but relentless. Then another threat. The passage ends at a maintenance. Hatch locked tight. She presses her hands against it, pulling, pushing, but it doesn't move. Panic surges, threatening to drown her resolve. Behind her, the sound of boots on metal grows louder, closer. The guards are seconds away. For a single moment, doubt claws at her again. Is this how it ends? But then fire rises inside her. With a desperate strength, She slams her shoulder against the hatch. Once, twice, 3 times. Metal groans, cracks, and finally gives way. She tumbles through the opening, landing hard on the floor below. Pain shoots through her body, but theirs. No time to stop. She scrambles to her feet and runs again. The door slams shut behind her, sealing the passage just as the guards reach it. Their shouts are muffled now, their anger trapped behind the wall. For the first time since the chase began, she has a heartbeat of space, a moment of fragile freedom, but Gaal knows better than to trust it. This is not victory, it's survival, temporary and thin as glass. The Empire will not stop. They will never stop. And if she hesitates for even one breath too long, they will catch her. So she runs again, deeper into the ship, deeper into the unknown, carrying only her fire and her fear. The ship grows quieter as she pushes deeper into its belly. The alarms still flash, red lights painting the walls like rivers of blood, but the voices are more distant now. Her lungs burn, her legs ache, yet she dares to believe she has gained space between herself and her hunters. For the first time, hope flickers a fragile flame she is almost afraid to hold, but hope is dangerous. Hope blinds. She turns into a wide chamber, a place she doesn't recognize. The walls are lined with towering machinery, the air thick with the smell of oil and smoke. Pipes hiss overhead, steam clouding her vision. She moves carefully now, slower, listening for every sound. For a moment it feels as if she's found cover. Then, a voice. Cold, sharp, too close. Did you really think you could outrun destiny? Her heart stumbles. From the shadows ahead, a figure steps forward, cloaked in the dim red light. Not a soldier, not a faceless guard, so someone different, someone who has been waiting for her. Their eyes burn with something more dangerous than loyalty to the Empire. They burn with certainty. It was never just the guards. The Empire didn't rely only on alarms and patrols. They planted watchers in the dark, people who knew her path before she even walked it. Betrayal woven into her escape from the very beginning. Gaal feels the weight of the trap snapping shut. The chamber around her is not a refuge. Cage. Hidden doors slide open, and armed figures step out from the shadows, weapons raised, circling her like predators around wounded prey. She's not running anymore, she's cornered. Her breath quickens. Every instinct screams at her to fight, but she knows the odds. She is unarmed, exhausted, and outnumbered. The red glow of the chamber makes the soldiers' armor gleam like the skin of demons, and their silence is worse than their weapons. It is the silence of certainty, of hunters who believe the chase is already over. For a heartbeat, fear grips her tighter than ever before. This could be the end. All her planning, all her running, and she has been driven straight into their hands. But inside that fear, something else flickers. Defiance. Gaal has been trapped before, beaten before, but she has always found a way to endure. If this is a cage, then she will tear it apart. If this is the end, then she will make it burn so brightly it will never be forgotten. Her eyes harden, her chest steadies. The soldiers step closer, but she does not step back, because sometimes the only escape is to fight. The chamber holds its breath. The soldiers close in, their weapons humming with deadly light. The red glow flickers across their faces, cold and unyielding, but it is Gaal's eyes that burn brightest. She has run far. She has been hunted, cornered, broken but not defeated. Not yet. The lead soldier steps forward, weapon aimed squarely at her chest. "It's over," he says, his voice steady with the arrogance of victory. The others tighten their circle, ready to strike at a single command. But Gaal does not move back. Instead, she lifts her chin, her voice cutting through the smoke like steel. "You think you've caught me? You think you've won? You've caught? Nothing but a shadow." And then she moves. Her hand slams against a panel on the wall, one she noticed earlier, but left untouched until now. Sparks explode as she rips free a power conduit, and suddenly, the chamber is alive with chaos. Lights shatter. Sparks rain down. A blast of steam erupts from the pipes above, filling the room with blinding mist. The soldiers stagger, their vision cut off, their weapons firing wildly into the haze. Energy bolts tear through machinery, metal screeches, alarms roar louder. Than before, in the chaos, Gaal becomes what she has always been, a survivor who turns the impossible into her weapon. She dives low, weaving between shadows, every step guided by instinct and desperation. A soldier lunges toward her, but she shoves the steaming conduit against his armor. Electricity surges, the soldier convulses, and he collapses. Another swings a weapon, but Gaal ducks, grabbing a loose pipe from the floor and striking with a strength born of sheer will. Pain rips through her arms. Her lungs burn, but she does not stop. Every second is borrowed time, every heartbeat stolen from fate itself. She knows she cannot defeat them all. Not here, not now, but she does not need to. She only needs a gap, a single opening, to break through the circle, and then she sees it, through the mist. A side door stands ajar, its lock damaged by stray fire. Freedom flickers like a dying star, and Gaal throws herself toward it. Blasts of energy scorch the floor beside her, heat searing her skin, but she does not falter. She dives through the doorway just as the soldiers regroup, their shouts echoing. Behind her, she slams her hand against the control panel, sealing the door. The chamber locks with a metallic crash, trapping the soldiers inside. For a moment, silence returns, broken only by the sound of her ragged breath. She is alive. Is free for now, but she knows this is not the end. It is only the beginning. The Empire will not forget this defiance. They will hunt her harder, chase her further, and strike with even greater fury. Yet as she leans against the cold wall, her body trembling, her spirit is unbroken. 'Cause in that chamber, in that desperate fight, she proved something to herself. She is not just running, she's fighting, and she will not stop. The corridor stretches before her like a vein of fire, flashing with red warning lights. The walls tremble with the echo of alarms, each one screaming her name, each one marking her. As prey, Gaal pushes herself forward, her legs heavy, her lungs clawing for air, but she cannot stop. Not now. Not when the last door between her and freedom is within reach. Her footsteps pound against the steel floor, going with the rhythm of desperation. Behind her, the soldiers hammer against the sealed chamber, their furious voices cutting through the metal. Somewhere deep in the structure, she hears the hiss of new doors unlocking, the sharp click of locks releasing. The Empire has unleashed the hunt. They will flood these halls any second. The docking bay is close. She can feel it, smell the faint tang of engine fuel, hear the low hum of ships waiting in the dark. But the path is not empty. Drones dart from the ceiling like steel vultures, their red sensors glowing, their weapons primed. Gaal ducks, rolls, her body screaming with pain as plasma bolts scorch the air where her head was seconds before. One drone swoops too low. With a desperate snarl, she grabs a shard of twisted metal from the floor and hurls it upward. Shard pierces its sensor, sparks erupt, and the drone spirals into the wall in a fiery crash. The blast throws her off balance, but she forces herself up again, every movement tearing at her muscles. The bay door looms ahead, tall and unyielding. Her heart stutters, locked. She slams her hand against the panel, but the console flashes red, denying her. Cruel reminder, freedom is never given. It must be taken. Her hands shake, but her mind sharpens. She tears open the panel, wires sparking like veins of lightning. She doesn't think she feels, her instincts guiding her fingers. A wire stripped, a spark connected, a pulse of energy surging through her palm, and then the door shutters. Slowly, painfully, it begins to rise, but she is not alone. From the far end of the corridor, soldiers flood into view, weapons raised, voices thundering with commands. Energy bolts sizzle through the air, striking dangerously close. The walls explode with heat and fire. The opening door crawls upward, inches from the ground, not fast enough, never fast enough. She drops low, pressing herself flat to the ground. Sparks rain on her back as she slides beneath the door, the edges scraping her shoulder, burning her skin. And then she's through. The docking bay opens before her, vast and endless, filled with the glow of engines and the promise of the void ships stand like sleeping beasts, their hulls reflecting the crimson glow of alarms. Somewhere among them lies her escape, her fragile chance at survival. She staggers to her feet, every step heavier than the last, but her eyes blaze with fire. She has crossed the threshold. She is closer to freedom than she has ever been. But behind her, the soldiers pour into the bay. Now the chase is not over. Not yet, and Gaal knows this final sprint will decide everything.